Santa Fe, New Mexico, a town rich with cultural traditions and the historic feel of the Old West.
I just love to start something right from the bottom and go up with it and see what happens.
What usually happens when master woodcarver Robert Waynee gets creative is a step back in time.
For the most part, everybody in the United States and probably the world recognize the American stagecoach. And it's always associated with the West.
Robert knows about Western traditions. He is mindful of those for the coaches as well as those of his tribe, the Saginaw Chippewas, where he is known as Lone Eagle.
My people have been around wood forever.
For over 20 years, Robert's skill as a carver has brought detailed beauty to homes.
These came from the Department of Transportation, the Smithsonian. This thing goes back to the 1700s, early 1700s.
Every stagecoach Robert creates is a 1 1/4-inch scale model, taken directly from historic blueprints of the original. To craft each coach, Robert uses modern rotary tools, a practice he is proud of.
I think probably you can do a lot more things with rotary tools than you can with conventional chisels, and I think it's a lot safer. Matter of fact, you're able to get a lot more detail into something.
The handcrafted details of Robert's coaches add a one-of-a-kind style element to a home's decor.
Everything is going to be a little bit different on them because there's no mass production. I make hinges one at a time. Each one of these little hinges in here has to be in a straight line or the door isn't going to swing. And it has to be manufactured, or it has to be put together from raw stock because there isn't any silver hinges around like that.
Wagon wheels, true to design and purpose, start as square pieces of walnut. A template Robert created helps him precisely glue the boards in position.
And the reason I left this joint open is so I can slide it over the bandsaw to get in there to cut the thing. A bunch of squares, we made a circle, I guess, is some kind of a miracle in itself, huh?
The spokes are next, and each one must fit into a 1/4-inch slot on the wheel hub.
What I do is just take most of the material off with this and then a simple sanding drum it. We'll leave it relatively smooth.
Every wheel is bound together with a strong band of metal. Robert uses sterling silver for his. Robert's training came by trial and error. He's proud of how he's pushed himself and his skills to a higher level.
Self-taught, I think, is just wanting to do something bad enough to take the steps. Even if you go wrong, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter what it looks like, but you have to attempt it.
The finished coaches bring a unique historical scene into a home, a recreation of what might have actually taken place in the Old West.
We put a dog running off with a good part of the evening meal on one side, and of course the wrangler trying to get even with him for doing so. It adds a little bit of humor, and it also adds some action to the thing as opposed to it just sitting there.
Robert still looks in awe at some of the pieces he creates. How vividly the character of the West lives on in each scene.
This is one thing that I can say that is really totally gratifying to me. Complete something like that. I look at it and I just marvel, how in the world did I do that?